What's going on, everybody? It's Adrian Hunter from over here at Pipedreamhookah, and today I have a video that's not going to be educational or very informative. I'm not going to be doing anything like giving you a review on a product that maybe you want to know a little bit more about before you spend your hard-earned cash on it. Today I'm going to show off a little bit, actually. I'm going to be showing off my entire collection of bowls, minus maybe one or two bowls that I actually don't have at the house with me here today, because I do lend bowls out sometimes, or I'll leave a bowl over at like my drummer's house, so I have the hookah there when I want to go practice. But these are all the bowls I have with me today. It's going to be kind of a longer video. Might not cut it, maybe I will. I have no clue. I tell myself I'm going to do less editing, and I still spend an hour editing each video. But let's just go ahead and dive into some of my collection. I know some people have asked about the different bowls I have and what I'd recommend. So I just wanted to kind of go through like the 30-some bowls that I have at my disposal. Talk a little bit about them. If there's a story about a bowl, I'll definitely let you guys know what that story is behind the bowl. And if it's just a bowl I like, I'll let you know what it is, why I like it, and maybe where you can pick it up if it's a rarer bowl. And some of these bowls you can't pick up at all because they're one of a kind or so rare, and I know everyone who actually has the bowl of that particular type, that you're just not going to be able to get it unless you buy it from that person or me, and unfortunately they're not for sale. I know some people ask me about my Relics bowls, but I will be holding on to those because I hold them near and dear. But to start with, I guess it's probably best to start from the beginning, and that's going to be the first funnel I had, and that's actually going to be two funnel bowls, because I ordered them as a pair from hookahjohn.com before I even started reviewing. I've been reviewing for, it's almost like 2 years now, so it's been a long time. But I guess I should do one at a time. So this is one of the bowls I picked up in that purchase, and this is going to be the Hookah Alien Bowl. This is going to be the Generation 3, and this bowl is outstanding. Most of you already know what an Alien Bowl is, but they're very shallow, and they're perfect for Tangiers. It's a really good dark leaf bowl. I wouldn't recommend using anything in here that you would want to fluff pack, but this bowl is one of my favorites in the Superman color. I don't use it every day. It's not one of my daily drivers, but if I'm going to smoke a Tangiers bowl that I only want to smoke one round on, this is the bowl that I go to. So there's the Hookah Alien version 3, I believe is what this is. And yeah, if you don't know what this bowl is, I would just suggest going to pick one up. Even if you can't get a version 3, I would recommend going and maybe trying to grab yourself a Alien, what was the name of the Alien Redux bowl? It was like the Alien Flashback or something like that. But definitely check that out, because I actually don't have a flashback, but I've smoked out of them, and they're awesome. Now, on this same order that I got that Alien Bowl, I picked this up, and for any of you guys who have been smoking for a while, you probably know that this is a Goodfella V3 bowl from over at 5-Star Hookah, is where these are generally sold. And I apologize, actually I got my Hookah Alien Bowl from 5-Star Hookah as my first order of real funnels as well. The only reason I probably said Hookah is because it's a Hookah bowl. But this was only available for the longest time at 5-Star Hookah. And these bowls are awesome. They're pretty much just the perfect vanilla funnel bowl. Nice wide spire. Not too deep, not too shallow. You can get 2 rounds if you want to go Tangiers. Although my recommended tobacco, and I think Zach from over at Strictly Shisha would also recommend this tobacco, is going to be Trifecta Dark Leaf. But these bowls are really awesome. I would recommend picking one up if you can, although they have moved on to the version 4.5, which is slightly different, and they have a version 4 as well, which I'll probably be sharing a little bit about today. But yeah, these two bowls were my first ever funnel bowls that I ever picked up, ever. And I'm really excited to show them off a little bit here, because I don't get a lot of love in my videos and stuff, because I've moved on to different bowls as far as what I prefer to smoke out of. I think most of us do that as our collection grows. But moving on to some other stuff. Now, I really am not sure what order I should do this in, so I think I'll do it by brand. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense to you guys at all. Am I in focus? Yeah, I'm basically in focus. So let's do Hookah first. And we just went over the Alien, so let's go over a couple of other Hookah bowls that I do have in my collection. Starting with, I guess I should start with the other one first, but this is the 80 feet Resurrection Bowl. And for any of you who don't know, this is Hookah attempt at going back to like the Gen 1, Gen 2 80 feet bowl, what everyone thought was the best dimensions. And I think that all the 80 feet variations have very good dimensions. One of the bowls I don't have with me is actually a Gen 1 80 feet bowl. Unfortunately, it's at my drummer's house. But it's in the Dirty Money color, by the way. But this is going to be the Alien Flashback, or that was the Alien, and it wasn't a flashback, the 80 feet Resurrection Bowl. And this is an awesome bowl. It's another one of those bowls that you can pick up a ton of because it's got a perfect capacity, in my opinion. Really good for, like, you can actually get 2 rounds of Tangiers because of the depth in this bowl, but it's just deep enough where you can fluff pack in it and stuff too for like 1 round of a blonde leaf tobacco like Alpaca, Messiah, Alpaca, whatever you want to smoke out of. This bowl is awesome, and a perfect way to follow that bowl up is with this one. You're going to notice these look jarringly similar, and it's because they are, for all intents and purposes, the same exact bowl. This one is going to be a Generation 3 Hookah John 80 feet bowl, and it's probably one of the closest bowls I have to being an actual Hookah John 80 feet Resurrection bowl. This isn't the one that I think he modeled the Resurrection after, but it's an awesome bowl. It's good for all the same reasons that this bowl is, except for you'll notice that it's a little more blocky. I don't even know if that pops up, but this bowl's got more curvature right here, and it kind of splits out down here, but that doesn't have anything to do with functionality. This one's just a little bit heavier. But yeah, I've got two 80 feet, well, I've got three if you include the one that's not here. But those are some of my Hookah John bowls. Moving right along, let's go to some of the stuff from the Harmony line of Hookah John bowls, of which I actually have a few. We'll start with the most basic Harmony bowl that I have, and that's going to be the wide gauge Harmony. For anyone who's wondering, I do not actually have an original Hookah John Harmony. It's something I want to pick up for my collection. I just haven't gotten around to getting one, and I usually smoke dark leaves, which call for smaller bowls anyway. But this is an awesome blonde leaf bowl, and what makes it wide gauge, obviously, is the spire is enormous. You can probably stick your thumb in there. I can almost stick my thumb in there. But yeah, this is just like a scaled up 80 feet bowl. It fits a lot more tobacco. I wouldn't recommend smoking a dark leaf out of this. This is in the denim color, which is just an awesome color. And this one doesn't really microfracture, but it has discolored from me cleaning it. It's really hard to pick up on the camera. But I love this bowl because this is from the second bowl run of bowls that I've ever bought. And then a few other Hookah John Harmony bowls I have. This is the red clay Harmony. A lot of people did not pick this one up because it's kind of a clunky bowl. No real good use for it. It doesn't stain very well, so you can't stain it with double apple or whatever flavor you like to smoke all the time. But it's also really hard to clean because it's not glazed, so it's mostly just a gorgeous bowl. And you can smoke with it. I smoke with it all the time. Well, all the time's a bit of a, that's kind of a lie. Like once or twice a month, so regularly, I guess. But it's a sweet bowl. The capacity is a little bit too much for me. But if I'm going to fluff pack Messiah, this is one of the bowls I will go to. And like I said, it's unglazed on the actual body of the bowl right here, the neck, and on the inside. But he did glaze the spire, which I appreciate because the spire would be one of the harder pieces to clean if he hadn't. Last but not least, for all the Harmony bowls, I've got this is the Retro Harmony. Much like the Flashback, the 80 feet Resurrection and the Flashback Alien, this is part of his line where he tried to go to the original dimensions of the old bowls that he had. And I'm not sure if he nails it, but this one, a lot of people have said he hasn't, but again, I don't have an original Harmony bowl. So here's what this is. It's not unglazed up here, but the glaze that he uses is really coarse, and can you hear that? The aliens are landing. But yeah, this bowl is really sweet. Nothing really to say. The capacity is much lower. It's very good for blonde leaves that you want to do one round of. With the heat management device, it fits perfectly, and I'm pretty sure most of the retro Harmonies have that characteristic. They all fit heat management devices very well. Now, we just did some Hookah John bowls, so it would make sense to me to move over to Alpaca, which I have a much more extensive collection of. By the way, I'm a big fan of the Alpaca Bowl Company. But let's start with some stuff that's a little more rare and move on to the stuff that's very common in cookie cutter. Probably the most rare piece of Alpaca equipment that I have is this. I think this is the Gen 1 Apache bowl. And for any of you who don't know what Apache bowl is, I'll actually pull up a more current Apache bowl, which is right here. And it's just the kind of diffused spire Alpaca bowl that's very good for Tangiers at a dense pack. And you can pack anything into it, but I would recommend for the newer one, which I'll go over in a minute, that was kind of a spoiler, I would recommend dark leaf for that. But for this one, you can absolutely get it with a blonde. It's got a much more recessed spire, so you've got a lot more room to play with. And it's got more capacity. It's a little bit wider. But this is just a rare bowl because these aren't in production anymore. This is not how they make them, and they don't really glaze them quite like this anymore. So this is kind of a neat bowl for any of you who haven't seen something like this. And then since I already showed it, this is the current version of the Apache Medium. And they make them larger, they make them smaller, but this is the perfect size. A lot of people have praised these bowls for being perfect for Tangiers, and I also praise these bowls for being perfect for Tangiers. The dimensions are great, it's very heavy, and the clay is just absolutely thick as hell. What else do we have here? At some point, I'm going to have to cut this, because this DSLR only records 12 minutes at a time. Where was I? Oh yeah, Alpaca bowls. So we went over the Apaches. What else do we have? We have a bunch of a certain bowl. I've given a couple away, but I'm just going to show them all on screen that I own right now instead of beating around the bush. These are Alpaca Rook Larges. These are like the standard size Rook bowl. I haven't seen a ton of the normal size Rooks if they even make them. They make a mini Rook, which I don't have yet, but I need to pick one up. But that's what these are, and I've got them in two separate colors. These are actually the I believe these are the Fumari ones. I picked these up as a batch, actually from the owner of Alchemist, back when I was doing a little bit of work for him locally. And there's nothing really to say. They have the rooked spire, which is why the Apache Rook Bowl, or whatever they call these, mini rooks and rooks. Yes, this is the Apache Rook Bowl, I think is what it is. And I don't use these hardly ever. They're very deep. They take a lot of tobacco. They're good party bowls. I let my buddies pack them when they want to pack something blonde, when they want to pretend they know how to pack a hookah. I think anyone can pack a hookah, but some of these guys really, they don't clean off the rimmer or anything, and they wonder where they get a burnt taste. But, hey, it's none of my business. What else do we have from Alpaca? Because I know we've got more. Before we move on to OG, because I do have some OG bowls, let's get the rest of the Alpaca bowls out of the way, starting with the Surrey bowl. Now this is a bowl, I'm going to move over to the bowl that this kind of came from very quickly after showing this, but this is just a very typical style funnel bowl. It's a lot like the original Tangiers bowls, except for it doesn't have the super tight bottleneck. It's more of a chode shape, if that makes any sense at all. But it's a really neat bowl, perfect for Tangiers. It's narrow, it's kind of deep, just deep enough to get a good 2-3 rounds if you're really a trooper out of Tangiers. This bowl's awesome. I would recommend it. It's actually one of my favorite bowls. It is because you don't have to think about it at all. It cooks almost every type of dark leaf tobacco you can want it to. You can pack it with a blonde leaf. It's not optimal, but you can absolutely get away with it. And it's a great bowl. I've got it in purple, obviously. And then right here, I've got what's called the Bambino bowl. This is another 5-star hookah exclusive bowl. Very cheap. They were like 15 bucks on 5-star. I don't know if they still make them or not. These bowls are awesome. One thing about these bowls that's really interesting is they don't really advertise this, but because of the bulge right here and the way that a grommet would go into this bowl, it creates a makeshift mole catcher where it kind of catches between the bowl and the grommet. Now when you take it off, there's going to be a floodgate of molasses and stuff. But this is a great bowl, perfect for like one round of Tangiers. Very small. Wouldn't recommend a blonde leaf out of this, but it's gorgeous. I also have this in purple. And for this is an Alpaca bowl. This is the Gen 4 Goodfella, which Alex actually wasn't very happy with. It's very deep, it's got a recessed spire. Nothing really to say, it's not the best bowl, it burns a lot like the Alpaca Rook bowls. But this is where it came from. This one's the Gen 3, this is the Gen 4, and you can see why a lot of people wanted them to make a different one, which they have. It's the version 4.5, which is a lot more like this, but a little bit more, the dimensions are more consistent from bowl to bowl. But that's what this is. I've got it on purple over black. This one's blue over black. You can kind of see that they changed the way they did the glazes. This is much more, I find this more aesthetically pleasing. This kind of has a cutoff right here. But I'm pretty sure that when they glaze these, they do it pretty quickly, so there's a lot of variance from bowl to bowl. I think that wraps it up for all of my Alpaca bowls. So before we move on to the sister company, I actually have one Liberty bowl. Let's go back in history a little bit and show off some OG bowls, which was the company that came before Alpaca and Liberty. And these are the same bowl. They're a little bit different because the walls on the actual top are a little bit thinner. These are the OG Predator bowls, which is the bowl that kind of spawned the Alpaca Surrey bowl. They're very similar. The difference is this bridge up here, which isn't super necessary. What it does is it stops your foil it stops foil drag, which is where when you take a pull, your foil's not super tight, so it goes over the spire and you're not pulling any clouds. The air is very restricted. These bridges are just here to help prevent that. These bowls are really cool. I've got one in like this bone white color and then this like kind of teal green color. It's almost exactly the same color as the Apache I have. But yeah, these are the OG Predator bowls. You can also get them by Alpaca. I actually don't have an Alpaca Predator bowl. I plan to get one, but I have the OGs. And before moving on to some miscellaneous brands, let's go ahead and talk about the Fudge Bowl. This is a fudge bowl. It's spelled F-U-H-J. I think you can all understand what that is. For any of you who don't know, I'm not going to get too into the meaning of words, but it is a response to the 80 feet bowl from Hookah. If you don't know what that means, you don't know what that means. A quick Google search will tell you what it does mean. It's that you can actually Google it now. That's how a lot of people are finding out. I found out because I live in Dearborn. If you know what that means, you know what that means. But this is going to be the fudge bowl, and it's kind of like the mini rook from Alpaca. And you can actually see, this is by Liberty, by the way, which is it was a company that split off from OG with Alpaca. But you can see that it's basically just a mini version of these giant rook bowls. Very good for Tangiers. Wouldn't smoke anything else out of it. Maybe some black lava for anyone who's still into that stuff. But it's a solid bowl. I definitely like it. I actually picked it up from Art over at, well, basically all the enthusiast groups. And he sold it to me. He actually had to Dremel down the spire because the spire rooks were so high that there was just no airflow. So I'm glad he did that for me. Now, what else can we do before starting to pick up some of these singleton bowls? And at the very end of this video, I'm going to talk about some more rare bowls that I have. Hopefully you guys are into that. But let's talk, before we get into anything singleton, about some of the other group bowls that I have, like these Tangiers bowls. I currently own 2 Tangiers bowls. This is the first one. This is a Tangiers Small. And what this is it's just a very, very basic funnel that Tangiers makes. They vary, but this one has a very small spire. Most of them do. And you can't really see it on camera, but this isn't exactly an even bowl. It's kind of wobbly over here on the top. It's a great bowl for Tangiers and a few other dark leaves that you can smoke out of it. It's not perfect. It's actually a bowl that I almost never use, but it is a collection piece. I love Tangiers as a company, so I wanted to pick one of these up. I do enjoy this bowl. I would recommend it. Sometimes they go on sale for like $10.99. I would pick one up because they do function, and sometimes you can get lucky and get a really good one. Then there was the Tangiers Iridescence bowl. And really quick, before I get too deep into it, for anyone who doesn't know, I've done a review on the Bambino bowl, and I think that's it. I don't think I've reviewed any of their bowls yet. So I'm going to review all these bowls at some point, but if any of you are really interested in the more technical details of any of these bowls or what I would recommend, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to cut a review for you guys on any of these bowls sooner than later. But this is going to be the Tangiers Iridescence bowl. This is the other bowl that I've done a review on. And this is just like a Tangiers bowl, except for it's got a giant spire. It's diffused with 6 holes, and it's got a similar capacity. It's just wider and much more narrow. And I can really only get Tangiers to work in this because of how deep it is and then how narrow it is. There's really no space to like fluff pack in here or anything, but the airflow is great. This is a sweet bowl. I think it's my only bowl that's just jet black, which I really like. And yeah, I would recommend this to anybody if you can pick it up on sale for like $14, $15. This kind of is the predecessor to the Tangiers Super Chief. I'm not going to go too deep into what that was, but it was a legendary Tangiers bowl and a Super Chief. This is not. If you're interested in knowing more about this bowl, I have cut a review. I should have linked it in the description below. Now that we've gotten through all my branded bowls, let's go ahead and start talking about some more stringed bowls. Not that some of these bowls aren't branded, but they're not by like Hookah or Alpaca or Liberty or any of the companies we all love and know. First we'll do this behemoth, which I actually picked up off of Kyle Smith of Relics bowls. This is a Sheikah Oblivion bowl. And what this is the red clay funnel bowl that you'll get with whatever Sheikah pipe you're picking up now. And it's just gigantic. It takes a ton of tobacco, only really good for blonde leaves. It's actually an outstanding bowl for tobaccos that have a lower heat tolerance because it doesn't hold heat very well, but it distributes it very well. So while it doesn't get super hot, it gets hot evenly and cooks your bowl pretty well. So would I recommend buying one of these a la carte? No, not necessarily. I think they're still asking like $10, $11 for it. You can get a better bowl for that price, especially if you're looking for sales. But if you're picking up a Sheikah, don't throw this bowl away. It's a solid backup bowl. I like it, and it's a cool collection piece. Also, you could, like, someone's breaking your house. You're like, oh, what are you doing? You coming to my house? That's a day. I'm doing. But cool bowl. What else we got? We have, let's talk Egyptian bowls really quick while I have you here. I have 3 Egyptian bowls. I'm not going to go too into detail about why I have Egyptian bowls. I have them in 3, well, really 2 different sizes. I've got 2 very small ones that I'll just use for like small knockless sessions and stuff. And I've got a medium one that I'll use for any blonde tobacco that I want to smoke. Really don't put dark leaves through here unless it's trifecta dark. That's a really good dark leaf to actually burn through these. But these are cool bowls. You need to have them in your collection. They're like $4 or $5. You can get them chipped for $2 on most websites. And if they're chipped, it doesn't matter. They're not pretty. They're not designed very well. But they do the job perfectly. They burn blonde leaves very well. And if you want to smoke something like Alpaca, these actually provide one of the best flavor profiles because of the way it actually pulls heat through. Instead of having a spire where the heat kind of comes over the tobacco and down the spire, it goes through the tobacco and down straight through the bowl. So for something like Alpaca where they have weaker flavor profiles, you can really get a mean double apple out of something like this. So I've said it on the podcast, I've said it on this channel here, I've said it on Facebook, I've said it everywhere. Get Egyptian bowls, they're sweet. Don't sleep on Egyptian bowls. Everyone is complaining about Egyptian bowls. I'll never understand it. We have better things today, I guess, but Egyptian bowls are sweet. I wanted to get into some premium bowls, but I guess I'll go through all the ones that aren't premium or rare first. So let's get all of those nice ones here. You can probably see some of them off to the side. But yeah, starting here, this is just another Egyptian bowl. I don't know if this is even Egyptian. A local guy made this for me. It's just an anglaise bowl. It's got some nice designs in here. By designs, I mean he just etched it with like some type of a butter knife or something. It's an anglaise bowl. I use it for Alpaca. With these true anglaise bowls, they hold flavor profiles. Don't wash them. The clay is not glazed. It's going to get messy. But definitely just pick a flavor, like double apple is what I do. Smoke out of it and then scoop it out, dry it out, set it on the shelf, and it's going to have a richer flavor profile every time you smoke the same flavor out of this bowl. Speaking of cuts, I should probably make an attempt at wrapping this video up soon, which is good because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bowls left to go, and some of these don't have much to say about. So let's start here. This is a weird one. This is a silicone bowl made by Starbuzz. I don't even know the name of it. It was given to me at the Chicago Hookah meetup. I've used it once. It works kind of okay. It's really good if you want to like bounce it off stuff without breaking anything, but it's not a great bowl. Silicone doesn't hold heat very well. I think most of us more advanced hookah smokers know this is not something you should really be using. I'm not a fan. It's a cool bowl to have in your collection, but I wouldn't recommend picking one up. What else do we got? This is a Dawn Evil Bowl. I picked this up not at the last Chicago Hookah meetup, but the one even before that. And this is just a really deep Egyptian style bowl that was actually milk glazed, which is something that Dawn bowls do over there, and I think it's Russia is where they make these. And they're just gorgeous. They feel really nice to the touch. They're nice and thick. This is a very good bowl for layer packing. They're black. They're gorgeous. Dr. Noob Sauce, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. He does some content on the Dawn bowls, and he has a lot of good things to say. So do I. Expect a review on this bowl soon, but if you don't know about Dawn bowls, I wouldn't sleep on them. I would recommend the Turkish or the classic if you're going to buy a Dawn bowl. This is more for people who like to layer pack, which I do like to layer pack, so there's that. And we're almost at the point where I could talk about rare stuff. Or not necessarily rare, but like either high-end or rare. All these bowls are pretty high-end, by the way. None of these are really bad, except for the Egyptian bowls and the silicone bowl, which aren't bad. They're just very basic. We should all have them in our collections. This is an ST bowl. It is it's like, it's not glazed, but it's not glazed, if that makes any sense. It's definitely textured, and you can wash it if you want to, although I have opted to ghost this with double apple because this is an awesome double apple bowl. They make these over in Russia, I believe. I picked it up from Sky Hookah Distribution, and it's just this nice chode of a bowl made with really thick clay, and I ghosted with double apple, like I was saying. The spire is very recessed. So what I do is I put like a small cork in there, pack my bowl, then take it out and kind of angle it a little bit. Angle it a little bit. But this is a cool bowl. They run about 20 to 25 bucks. If you can get a hold of the guys from Sky, you can buy one. They're great. I really would recommend one. They're also so much different from most bowls. They work with the Phoenix as well, for any of you guys who have the Phoenix heat management device. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more bowls to go. One is rare, 2, 3, 4 of them, 5 of them are rare, and the other 2 are just very high end. So let's start with the one of the lowest quality, but probably one of the highest rarities. And that's going to be the ugly Egyptian red clay bowl. And what this is Jim's not releasing these for anyone who wants to buy them. He released a video a while back on the Facebook groups of people making these, and he's not happy with the quality control on these. And I can see why. The gold paint kind of rubs off a little bit, and they're not really the same size. All of them are different sizes. What we have here is an Egyptian bowl with all this ugly swag on it. It's black, but it is red clay on the inside, and it's like glazed all the way on the inside of the bowl, which is very interesting to me. But on the top, you have the Egyptian 5 holes, but they've raised the center into almost a half vortex, well, a third vortex, a third Egyptian bowl, and a third funnel bowl style, where you've got a hole on top and 4 holes on the sides. And it works very well for brands like Ugly. Imagine that. We smoked a crap load of Ugly out of these in Lansing. And it works for any blonde leaf. It works as well as any Egyptian bowl, but it's definitely not something you want to spend a bunch of money on unless you're a serious collector, in which case you're almost out of luck because you can't find these. These are not for sale. You have to really hunt to get one of these. We are giving one away over at the AM Hookah podcast for this big giveaway we have going. Another video that should have been uploaded either today or yesterday or the day after this is the credentials, or the steps you need to take, not the credentials. It's totally a different word. But how you would enter that giveaway. It's a big one. We're giving away hookah, coals, tobacco, bowls, all the good stuff. This is one of the bowls we're giving away in addition to a stone bowl. But that's what this is. And we are on to rare bowls and high-end bowls, or both. Let's go. I'm going to save my favorite 3 for last, and it's really hard to say, but I think I'm only going to do one Relics bowl as my favorite. leaving the 3 that I'm about to show you as all Relics bowls. I am a proud owner of 4 Relics bowls. I got to meet up with Kyle and even Sally and some other people from the Hookah communities over in North Carolina a little while ago, and I picked up some Relics bowls. So let's start with my favorite of my not favorite Relics bowls, and this is just, there's no name for it, it's just a Relics bowl. This is a nice, tall, perfect for Tangiers Relics bowl. It looks gorgeous. You probably see me using these in videos. I've broken it down on the podcast. Kyle's craftsmanship is just second to none. He does all this by hand. It's hand glazed. The glaze is crazy intricate, and the insides kind of get this Yoshi egg texture with a decently wide spire. Its capacity is about 14 to 16 grams of Tangiers. Nothing more to say than that. Just look at it for a moment, because it is. I'm going to get my face out of there. Is that in focus? That's probably about right. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Anyway, that's one of my Relics bowls. I'm a big fan of it. I wish these had names so I could like address them properly. This is another one. I'm not going to say what he calls it. It might be insensitive. I don't know. It's got a fun name. Contact me, I'll tell you exactly what we call this. But this is a bowl that did not work. It was meant for heat management devices, but it's too wide. The firing process didn't go as planned. It's got a very low spire. This is an unusable bowl. But I did pick it up off of him anyway because I loved the way that it looked, and I just like to look at it on my shelf of bowls. So there's nothing really crazy to say. It's just a bowl that he put a lot of work into. The glaze and the actual craftsmanship is stellar. If this was just like a quarter of an inch smaller, it would work so perfect with like a Phoenix or a Lotus or something like that, but it doesn't. But that exists. I hope someone was happy to see it. And before we move on to the top 3, this is going to be the 10-gram Tangiers bowl, and it's actually closer to 8 grams when you measure it out. This is just the smallest little Relics bowl ever. It's very small. To give you some context, this is it next to a, what's a standard size bowl? This is an 80 feet bowl. So it's smaller than the 80 feet bowl. There's the center of the camera. But like, the capacity in here is almost nothing. You can forget fluff packing. Anything but Tangiers, I wouldn't try to smoke it out of here. But this bowl is awesome. It's got this like little emblem right here that I don't even think is canon to Relics, I'm not sure. But it's gorgeous, and it does work really well for 45-minute Tangier sessions, which is a rare bowl. Most bowls want to burn Tangiers much longer than 45 minutes. So I like this bowl a lot for anyone who was interested in seeing that, because I talk about my 10-gram Tangiers bowl all the time on the podcast and stuff, but I never really show it off. Top 3, no particular order. A lot of these bowls probably have a little bit more sentimental value to me, but these are like very high-performing bowls, or rare bowls, or bowls that I think people want to see. Let's start with my Mason Onyx bowl. I know some of you are probably like, yo, Adrian, you don't like Mason bowls. You talk shit on Mason all the time on the podcast, and yeah, I do, but that's mostly to fight off some of the hype people have for Mason. This bowl is still stellar. I don't need to sing the Mason bowl's praises. If you want to see a review, just look for a review. All the big reviewers do reviews on these. They're awesome. They have like molasses catchers built into them, which is just gorgeous. The clay combination, the different clays and stuff they use to make these hold heat very well. They're nice and shallow, perfect for heat management devices, but you can use foil. And this is in the, I believe this is Midnight Opal. No amount of lighting here is going to do it justice, but it's black, and when light shines off of it, it turns purple. It's just a gorgeous bowl. I love that bowl. Next up, we have a bowl that actually means quite a bit to me, because it was gifted to me by Jeremy from over at Hookah University, and this is the Stone Fit bowl. You don't know what a stone bowl is? Do a quick Google search to see what amazing bowls that Brandon George makes. But these are just bowls made by a guy who went to school, college, for this type of stuff. Literal like pottery and clay work. He's very good at it. He runs an amazing company called the Stone Bowl Company. And look, it's very simple. Yellow, white. And on the inside, you've got these grooves and everything. It's easier to clean out than it looks, I promise. And it's got a very rooked spire. And that it's perfect for heat management devices, hence it being a Stone Fit bowl. I love this bowl. If you guys want to pick one up, do it. Like, I would just recommend this bowl. This bowl has me using heat management devices. I don't even use heat management devices, but for that bowl and the Mason Onyx bowl, I will use a heat management device. Last but not least, you probably all know what this is. This is going to be probably the coolest bowl I own. This is the Relics ring bowl. And real quick anatomy tutorial or demonstration for anyone who doesn't know. There's a ring on top, This comes off, you put foil on, preferably double layer. Put this on, pull the foil off, it doesn't show any foil. Because of the ring design, you can set a heat management device right into it, so it rests right on top. Everything's amazing. And yeah, this has got a really small capacity, very comparable to the 80 feet bowl capacity, probably even a little bit less. Actually, I can tell you for a fact it's a little bit less. Really thick walls. I'm doing a full review on this, so I'm not going to say too much about this bowl. But this is another one of my favorite bowls. It's definitely rare. One of my favorite things about it is it's got a rook spire. It's the only one with a rook spire. And it has a rook spire because Kyle chipped it, because this is his test bowl that he was using to test out his own product. And he chipped it, so instead of like abandoning it or leaving it ugly, he went ahead and rooked the spire before he sent it out to me, which I am very appreciative of. But yeah, what you just saw was almost every single bowl that I own. So I hope this was a fun video for any of you guys who wanted to check out my collection. Sorry about the length. This is well into a half hour, I believe. But this is just something I really wanted to show off because I've been doing a lot of videos lately with the podcast and everything, very busy. I just wanted to kind of kick back and share some of my collection with you guys. And if you guys are interested in any other videos like this, definitely let me know down in the comments below. And now that that's over with, we can get back to the reviews and the content that you guys are actually here for. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, happy smoking.